Forget the tales of brute strength or terrifying speed. There's another story in the dinosaur world. In Madagascar 70 million years ago, a story not of greatness, but of desperation. It's the story of a survival instinct warped into something pathological, of a hellish island where the most frightening enemy didn't come from the outside, but from within its own ranks. And in this video, we're going to find the answer to a terrifying question. What turned Majungasaurus, the ruler of ancient Madagascar, into the #1 contender for the title of the sickest dinosaur of all time? The image we usually have of apex predators is of spectacular chases across vast plains or life-and-death battles with giant prey. But put yourself in the place of Majungasaurus 70 million years ago. You are the strongest creature on an island, Madagascar, long isolated from other continents. There are no rivals larger than you. You are at the top of the food chain. Sounds like a ruler's paradise, right? The truth is the complete opposite. That was your curse. In a closed, harsh ecosystem, resources are limited. The plant-eating dinosaurs on the island weren't always plentiful, and droughts or environmental shifts could plunge the entire land into famine. When an apex predator has hunted its prey population to scarcity, what does it do? The answer, horrifyingly preserved in the fossil record, lies within its own kind. Majungasaurus developed a behavior few other predators exhibit so systematically: cannibalism. The evidence doesn't come from speculation, but from undeniable physical proof. Paleontologists, while excavating bone beds in Madagascar, kept finding something shocking. On many Majungasaurus bones themselves, ribs, pelvis, vertebrae, they discovered distinct grooves, deep gouges. At first, one might think they were from other predators or clashes with large prey. But when they conducted morphological analysis, comparing the spacing between tooth marks, the bite angles, and the groove shapes to Majungasaurus's own jaw specimens, a chilling truth emerged. These marks matched perfectly with the serrated, blade-like teeth of their own species. These weren't bites from an ancient crocodile or some mystery predator. This was the signature of Majungasaurus on the bones of another Majungasaurus. But the story becomes even more haunting when we consider the context. These bite marks weren't just on bones. In some rare and significant cases, scientists found signs of healing bone around the injuries. This pushes the narrative into a new depth of horror. It wasn't simply scavenging the corpses of fallen comrades. This discovery suggests that some Majungasaurus were attacked, bitten, and torn by their own kind while still alive, and somehow they survived long enough for those wounds to heal. Imagine you're wounded in a fight, and instead of your rival retreating, it starts tearing into you as if you were prey. The physical and psychological terror in that scenario goes beyond any ordinary interspecies clash. So what led to this extreme behavior? Scientists propose a few possible scenarios, each reflecting the brutality of their environment. The first is pure opportunism. In a harsh world, a carcass, whether from old age, sickness, or accident, is a massive source of calories too significant to ignore. For a hungry Majungasaurus, coming across a dead member of its own species was like stumbling upon a feast. In a life-or-death situation, the concept of kin can blur, leaving only the concept of food. The second scenario is more violently acted. Territorial fights that end in a meal. Two male Majungasaurus might have fought viciously for control of territory or mating rights. If the battle ended with one dead, the exhausted, wounded victor faced a choice: walk away from a ton of meat or use it to recover. The fossil evidence shows Majungasaurus frequently chose the latter. This behavior, while seemingly brutal, might have been a logical survival strategy in an energy-scarce context. It's like a gladiator after a fight to the death, consuming his opponent for strength. A terrifying image, yet one that reflects nature's ruthless survival logic when pushed to the brink. This places Majungasaurus in a special position compared to other apex predators we often admire or fear. Take Tyrannosaurus rex, for example. T-Rex was a professional hunter. Its pursuits targeted other species, Triceratops, Edmontosaurus. That's a classic predator-prey relationship, bloody but still within nature's usual framework. Velociraptor, with its intelligence and pack coordination, was also a sophisticated hunter of appropriately sized prey.
And Majungasaurus, when environmental pressure peaked, its menu shrank and revolved around its own kind. It was no longer merely a hunter. It became a phenomenon of ecological decay, a sign that the island's ecosystem was perhaps in a state of severe imbalance. The title, The Sickest here, isn't just about brutality. It's about a warping of survival strategy. Sick here can mean pathological, twisted, going against the usual rules. While most predators evolved to get better at hunting other species, Majungasaurus, under the pressure of a unique and harsh environment, developed a tendency to solve its hunger by turning on its own community. This makes it a terrifying and fascinating case study in how nature operates when all normal options are exhausted. The story of Majungasaurus isn't one of strength or glory. It's an ecological tragedy, a painful testament to how life can become distorted under extreme pressure. It shows us that sometimes the greatest threat doesn't come from the outside, but from the struggle to exist in a world that is shrinking and growing more hostile. Majungasaurus didn't just hunt, it embodied an ecosystem eating itself, a downward spiral where the ruler eventually had only itself to consume. So, next time you think about the most fearsome prehistoric predators, alongside the images of noisy bites and spectacular chases, save a moment of quiet reflection from Majungasaurus. For the lonely king of a hellish island, who taught us one of the most horrifying lessons, that in the struggle for survival, when pushed to the absolute limit, the line between kin and food can become terrifyingly thin. What do you think? Was this behavior a ruthless but shrewd adaptation, or a harbinger of a lineage's doom? Share your thoughts below, and if you want to explore more haunting corners of the dinosaur world, be sure to follow us for the next part of the journey.